What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Off the Top Rope, Off the Mic Sports Network. Feeding in some more SummerSlam takeaways, and I'll have a big picture review coming out around here shortly. But I wanted to dive deep into I guess you could say the sub main event, co-main, whatever. But it was the match before the main event, which was the celebrity tag team match that everybody shit all over. Jelly Roll and and Randy Orton taking on Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. This match on a night where you had CM Punk, Gunther, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, you had all these stars in it. Leave it to one of the standout matches of the night to be the celebrity tag team match with Jelly Roll, a country music star who lost over 200 pounds from the last SummerSlam that we saw him at. Country music star, never wrestled, trained his ass off to get in this. He's in the ring there with a future Hall of Famer in Randy Orton. We seem to think Drew McIntyre's on his way to being a Hall of Famer. And Logan Paul, for as much shit as we give that guy, this guy fucking gets it, man. Logan Paul was in every single right spot to make something work during this tag match. And then he executes another picture-perfect splash and creams Jelly Roll through the table. Jelly Roll, his comeback was great. Logan gets the pin. The heels get the win in a really listen, I in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe they could use this to feed into a Randy Orton heel turn, and maybe that's what this ultimately leads to. Who knows? Logan getting the pin on Jelly Roll, okay, whatever. But Jelly Roll did his job. He looked like he belonged in there with guys who are very experienced. And then, the other thing about this, like Randy and Drew were great at what they did. People were shitting all over this concept, and everybody did their role to a T. And then the biggest thing for me that I need to hammer home is, like I said, I got to give credit to Logan Paul, a celebrity in his own right who's been doing this for long enough that he knows what he's doing, and he consistently delivers high-level matches on big stages, which, like I said, I can say however I feel about Logan Paul in terms of him as a person. I don't like him. I don't. But the guy, when he comes to work and he comes and does his job for WWE, he executes things and does things like he's a professional. And that's hard to do when you're somebody from an outside world and coming in to do this. Like, he gets heat. He gets a lot of heat from crowds. He gets disdain from people. It's really fantastic. So, I enjoyed the hell out of this match. But going into this match, I was like, okay, what is Jelly Roll going to do? Because in terms of peak celebrity performances in matches like this, I always think back to Bad Bunny at WrestleMania 37 and obviously his street fight with Damian Priest. I didn't think we were going to get something from Jelly Roll like on that level where he's going to be busting out Canadian destroyers and sick dives and doing stuff that most people don't do. Bad Bunny's in a league of his own when it comes to celebrity involvement. But what Jelly Roll did tonight, that was different from and Bad Bunny was doing this pretty well in his matches too. He was able to sell too. Jelly Roll sold his fucking ass off like he knew how to take a beating. It was incredible the amount of punishment that this guy took in this match. And then he takes the pinfall. Because listen, in terms of the outcome, there were really only two people in this match that could get pinned. Drew wasn't getting pinned. Randy wasn't getting pinned. So it was either going to be Jelly Roll in his first match or it was going to be Logan Paul. I thought in my predictions that it was going to be Logan Paul, and they would give the celebrity tag team the win as they customarily do. But this was a night filled with heavy babyface wins, so they went the other way. And but man, I gotta hand it to him, man. I gotta hand it to Jelly Roll for taking the shit, taking the beating, leading to the Randy Orton hot tag. Then obviously Jelly Roll gets in the match. He takes the table bump and then is able to come back and ultimately, come in like a house of fire. He hits a choke slam. He hit a black hole slam. He actually hit a sick looking power slam from the top rope that they called a jelly to belly. Um, Listen, man, like I loved this match. I really loved this match. It wasn't by any means a 5-star classic or anything like that. This was an attraction match. And for everybody who was shitting on this concept, including me when I initially heard about this, but once I saw the way that they were building this and the people that were involved, all 4 of these men, specifically the 3 guys who are actually wrestling in somewhat of a capacity, obviously the 2 of them being full-time and then Logan being more of a special attraction in his own right. This did the job, man. On a special on a 2-night show, you have these guys go out there for 15 minutes, and the crowd was into this the whole fucking time because they structure this. This is a really neat layout where they had, Jelly Roll take a lot of shit early on in this match. Obviously sell his ass off. It leads to the Randy Orton hot tag, the House of Fire stuff. Um, and then, ultimately it leads into the finish of the match where, Jelly Roll gets put through the table. They're beating up on Randy Orton. Jelly Roll gets back into the match. It leads to a bunch of crazy stuff near the end. Randy Orton gets an RKO in after Drew hit the Claymore on Jelly Roll, and then it leads to the Paul from Grace, is what they're calling his splash, because he wasn't going to do the pulverizer, which is a very more convoluted move, and expecting him to do that on a bigger guy like Jelly Roll would have been a hell of a spot, but also that would have felt like something for more of a baby face, in my opinion, if you're going to do something like that on a bigger guy. They used Jelly Roll's wife to get some heat in this match, which was great, to sell the spot of him getting helped out of the stage. And the crowd was into this thing, man. The crowd was into this thing. Like for the middle portion of this show, the crowd kind of fucking died because, after the tag match with Alexa and Charlotte, this kind of fell off a cliff a little bit because, Karrion and Sammy was fine, but it was a Raw match. Jade and Tiffany went like 7 minutes. It was really quick. And if you blinked in an eye, it was over. And there was no heat to the match whatsoever. And then you get to this match and you're like, okay, what are my expectations? And to me, they blew it out. They blew them out of the water. I give credit to Jelly Roll. I give credit to, the 2 future Hall of Famers in my eyes, Drew and Randy. And then, of course, nobody's going to want to do it, but I got to hand it to Logan Paul, man, because that guy went out there in a really tough spot with another celebrity, and people don't like this guy. And he went in there, and every single spot, because as we talk about, wrestling is an art. It is an art. And it is really easy to mess things up if you're not in sync with your combatants and your dance partners. Logan Paul, every single spot, flawless. Every single thing. He was outstanding in this match. Outstanding at it. Drew was great. So, like, you could shit on this concept of, like, okay, Jelly Roll got in the show and Carmelo Hayes got on the show. Guys, you needed to build a story around Carmelo Hayes if you were going to get to something like this. Yes, am I not happy that, a talented guy like him is not getting utilized on a big stage like this? Sure. But don't lie to yourselves. This was highly sports entertaining. And WWE has been nailing these types of matches for years. And they absolutely knocked it out of the park. You didn't know what to expect, but you got another guy who committed to the bit, did a lot of hard work to get to this point, and then he took a loss. He took a loss. Am I happy that Logan Paul got the pin in the match? No, not really. But, does Drew really need to pin a celebrity to justify who he is? Yeah, it was fine. For what it was fine. Honestly, one of my favorite matches on this show. Obviously, the main event and the opening match were probably 2 of the good matches on the show. And then, hey, the tag match was fine. But we'll have a lot more coming here on the channel surrounding SummerSlam. This was a heck of a night for the show. Thanks to everybody who was on the watch along. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.